Welcome, little racers, to Geek Salad's review of the Walt Disney parks and resorts. We have moved on from the East Coast, and now we're talking about the West Coast, and we're going to start off, because we skipped last week, we're going to do our favorite and least favorite of Disney's California Adventure. So, roll call from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
I'm Mike. And from the One Little Spice Podcast,
I'm Julie.
Hey, Julie.
And I'm Jonna.
And Jonna from California. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting conversation because I have actually never set foot in Disney's California Adventure. Up until recently, to me, it was just a butt of jokes on The Simpsons. I'm going to take you where no one could ever find you, Mom. Disney's California Adventure.
At one point that was true.
Yeah. Well, back when it was all about, like, let's celebrate California. And then someone had the brilliant idea, like, hey, why don't we just make it a kick-ass amusement park instead?
Well, as a Californian, let me say, it wasn't the California-ness of it, but they needed some serious work on the rides. You can't be Disney and go all off the shelf. It's not going to fly, no matter how quickly you theme them out.
Yeah.
To which I say, ka-chow!
That's Andy's input for the night. I'll just say ka-chow every once in a while.
Pretty much. I've seen some videos, primarily about Pixar Pier, which I'll talk about things that I would like to do, but this is your conversation. I'm just kind of here to make fun of it. So,
I have a lot of good things to say about California Adventure that make me really sad that they don't exist in Disney World. So those are those dislikes about Disney World?
Maybe.
Well, Andy, we do know you will have to get out there before too long because they are making Marvel Land out there.
They are making Marvel Land out there. I'm very excited about that. Actually, the thing I'm the most excited about, and this is the stupidest thing to be like the most excited about, is the Bing Bong Candy Shop.
Oh my God, yes.
And the only reason
we talked about that on one of our episodes, and
I heard that. The reason why I'm excited is like the big header with Bing Bong has got like these clear PVC plastic tiers, and they have jelly beans embedded in them.
That's awesome.
I'm just like, this is the detail I come to expect from Walt Disney.
Yeah, and it's all in California.
I know.
The Pixar Tea Party, the Buddy Pops. Like, hello, we'd like this on the East Coast.
California, where we recognize that there is more than just Toy Story as Pixar fare.
And you've got to come and try the cookie Yum Yums, Jack Jack's cookie Yum Yums.
Have you tried Jack Jack's cookie Yum Yums?
I have not been to Pixar Pier since they've opened it.
Okay.
But that's definitely on my agenda. Because as we all know,
my Ratatouille straw, no big deal.
As we all know, the one true cookie is the chocolate chip cookie.
Yes.
According to my mom. And that
mom is a white woman.
That Jack Jack's cookie Yum Yums features a melting hot chocolate chip cookie that apparently you can smell everywhere.
Well, that's just because they pipe chocolate chip cookie scent everywhere.
They do the same thing in Main Street.
I was gonna say similarly to Main Street, USA.
Right. So, who wants to get us started here? Because the three of you have more experience than I do.
Are we starting with dislikes?
Why don't we?
Yeah. Okay. So I've got a list of dislikes, but they're very like nitpicky, like only about my teeny tiny little trip.
All right.
So the Tower of Terror was closed. The Olaf painting was filled up, and I couldn't do an Olaf drawing. And they changed my favorite roller coaster to be Pixar themed, which I hear is incredible. But
hold on a sec. Every time I do that, I gotta do this with my shirt.
Good job.
But I mean, other than that, I didn't really spend too much time in California Adventure because I did Disneyland and California Adventure all in one day when I was there because I only had one day to do it. So I had dinner there and I rode the Cars ride, but those are things that I liked. So I guess those are my only dislikes.
Okay.
Mike?
As far as dislikes go, I don't really have a dislike for restaurants as far as restaurants go. I really only can vouch for like 3 restaurants that we've eaten at. And I suppose my least favorite of the 3 was that Italian one, that Trattoria.
Country Trattoria. Yeah.
I mean, and it's not that it's bad. It's just that like out of the 3 places that we've eaten, which would be the Pacific Wharf here, I'm blanking on the second and third place. But
don't you remember, Jonna?
Well, I guess my worst restaurant-wise would probably be Smoke Jumpers Grill, just because when I was growing up and going to Disney, my mother had a very firm rule that you could get burgers and sandwiches, or you could get real food for the same price. Sit down and have an actual meal. And when they've been attempting to change it some, but when they opened, it was the most boring assortment of nothing sandwiches and burgers that you've ever seen. I gather they've livened it up some now, and they have a really kicking s'mores dessert, but it hasn't yet been enough to overcome all the indoctrination that I grew up with as a kid, telling me that if I'm going to spend the same amount of money, I might as well go and get a real meal.
What was the s'mores dessert that they added there? Was that the one that they used to have at the backyard barbecue that they got rid of in Disneyland to make way for Star Wars World?
You know, I never ate at the backyard barbecue, so I can't answer that, but I'm told it is a gigantic s'more thing, and it takes a while. Yeah, it's slow to get it. Because they
served in a cast iron skillet. So basically the one in the backyard barbecue that doesn't exist anymore, sadly, was served in this giant skillet. It was about this big. It does not look this big in the pictures. I ordered it. One came out.
No, this is a more individual sized s'more thing, suitable for one person, but big for that.
I just remembered what the 3rd restaurant is. Ghirardelli's.
Dilly-dallies?
Ghirardelli's.
Like
Ghirardelli's
chocolate factory and their associated creamery. Yes.
Do they have like savory food, or is it all sweet stuff?
No, it's all sweet stuff, but it's chocolate.
It's all sweet stuff. It's ice cream and chocolate, and it is my favorite restaurant in the park by far.
I could have called that one.
Because I'm a dessert junkie. And they have what they call the Presidio Passion, which is a strawberry hot fudge sundae where they smother it in hot fudge. You can have your choice, milk or dark chocolate. Get the dark. Strawberry.
Was that the Paradiso thingy that you were telling?
The Presidio Passion, yeah.
That's what it is, yeah.
And topped with a chocolate dipped strawberry. Oh my God.
We talked about that on a Magical Snack Corner, thanks to you.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But I've tried other things there, like the Strike It Rich, which is vanilla and butter pecan ice cream with butterscotch, almond nuggets, whipped cream, cherry. Really, really, really rich. But you don't go to Ghirardelli's expecting it to be either bland or low calorie. You're going there because you want your blood sugar to spike.
Do they have the s'mores there, or is that just the one in the Disney World? Disney World.
I would think they do. I always go for the ice cream, so I haven't tried that. But they have a whole assortment of Ghirardelli things. They have salted caramel hot chocolate. They have chocolate dipped strawberries. They have cookies and brownies made with the Ghirardelli products. And I can state for a fact that the stuff that you get there is every bit as good as the ones that you get in San Francisco at the actual Ghirardelli factory and creamery.
It is delicious. But I mean,
everything always smells so good coming from there, but I'm not a super huge sweets person, so I've never been in there. But walking by, like, the smell of chocolate is intoxicating.
Well, bakery tour then would be your friend, because
absolutely. I have a pastry degree. They do bakery tours.
At Bodines, they and I probably mangled the name. My apologies, but they specialize, of course, in sourdough bread. Very San Francisco. And they walk you through the whole process from how the starter is made, how the dough is created, how long it has to raise, and it's all done so you can see every stage of the process in actual time, and free samples. And at Ghirardelli's, they give you little free samples of the chocolate squares. Pick up yours. Don't miss it.
Yeah, I gotta say,
sourdough and some chocolate. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Attached to the sourdough bakery, there is the Pacific Wharf Cafe, and that's actually my favorite eatery there, because they got, I've had it both times that we've eaten there, a chicken, apple, and walnut salad served in a sourdough bread bowl.
Ooh!
It is so amazingly good, and especially refreshing on a hot California day.
That sounds good, including my ambivalence of walnuts. That's really good.
It gives a nice earthy flavor to it.
Yeah, the Pacific Wharf Cafe specializes in all kinds of soups and salads in bread bowls and sandwiches, all done on lovely sourdough bread that they have baked fresh.
That sounds amazing. Can we go there? Thanks.
Oh, and while you're there, you can also check out and pick up, if you want, sourdough loaves in the shape of things like little turtles or Mickey heads.
Oh my god, that sounds so cute. Why don't we have things on the East Coast?
Because they're a California company, and they brought them in first thing to prop up the California-ness of it, and they've stayed because they're very popular.
Yes, they are.
I can understand why.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else have anything that you don't like, or is there anything you do like?
Well, we were just talking about what we do like, so I'm so confused right now.
Well, I do have a ride I'm not crazy about.
Which is?
Was it the Guardians of the Galaxy ride?
Well, it was, mainly because it's still Tower of Terror. My stomach doesn't like it. But other than that, though, there's what was it, Goofy Sky Coaster?
Goofy Sky School. It's a Crazy Mouse coaster. So it's great fun for the kids, not so much for the adults if you want to keep your spine and your head attached.
Is that anything like the Barnstormer?
No.
No,
Okay.
It's
more
closer to the one that they have in Animal Kingdom. That
Primeval
dinosaur
World.
one.
The oh my god, what is it called?
Primeval World.
That one.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
But it's Goofy themed.
I gotta say one more thing on the food before I move on to my rides is that they do an awesome and amazing dessert party during the World of Color show.
Oh yes.
It's a little different than the dessert parties that you see at other places where they do it all you can eat, because since it's in the middle of an active show, they don't want people moving around. It might be a little dangerous. So they have it plated but you have more stuff than you could possibly eat. Bread and cheddar cheese straws, fresh cheeses, grapes, a mini chocolate mocha bundt cake, macaroon, French macaroons, which differ from the coconut Mickey one, shortbread cookies, all kinds of goodness. I took a box home, which they give you. But one of the coolest things that they have is, they include beverages, but for the kids, they provide them their non-alcoholic beverage in a cup that actually changes color with the colored lights on what used to be Mickey's Fun Wheel, is now the Pixar Pal Around Ferris wheel.
That's really cool. That's a terrifying Ferris wheel.
And it actually
like shaking his head.
blinks in accordance with parts of the show. And I hadn't really noticed that when we'd noticed that it was flashing with the Ferris wheel, but we hadn't really noticed it in the show because we were distracted by the show until they got to the part about Pirates of the Caribbean and you start hearing the thump, the thump, the thump of a heart. And you realize that the kid's cup is pulsing red in time with that.
That is so
awesome.
Again, why don't we have any of these things on the East Coast?
The Ferris wheel is it's half scary and other half not scary because you can get on the cars that will roll and rock and all that, and then you get on the regular ones, which was that's where Jonna and I split up. I go on the regular ones, she goes on the ones that go all over, and I don't like it.
I almost went on it. I didn't realize there are some that don't move because just staring at that gave me such anxiety.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, literally half of the cars are stationary and function just like any other Ferris wheel, and half of them are on an internal track so that when the Ferris wheel moves, or even when it stops, there's momentum and it slides along that internal track. And for me, it feels like sitting on a big porch swing, which I love.
I would do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. And I
You
don't.
coward.
But what I would recommend going on it, Julie, because
My issue is heights with Ferris wheels and getting stuck at the top of one of those and it's swinging.
You're
fair enough.
completely enclosed, so there is no danger of you falling out. Not even really if you do something stupid could you do that.
They could still fall off and come crashing to the ground.
But you get the best view.
Yes.
You see pretty much the entire park. You can see Disneyland, and from the other side, you can look out and you can see all the way to the beach.
Yeah, I can see her. I can see her house from there. Literally.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right. Are there any other attractions or rides you want to talk about DCA?
Well, I really like the roller coaster. What's it called?
Which one,
The Pixar
Julie?
roller coaster.
The Incredicoaster.
Incredicoaster.
So the Incredicoaster that used to be, what did it used to be, Jonna?
It used to be California Screamin'.
Yes. So I just thought it was like the coolest roller coaster ever because you look at it and it looks like this wooden roller coaster, and then you get on it and you do a loop around Mickey's head, and it was just the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I don't ride that one. I hold her purse.
It's probably one of the best roller coasters I've ever been on. It was really awesome.
It literally functions exactly the same way now.
I know. That's why I can't be disappointed with it, but I was until I realized it was going to be the exact same thing because I didn't want them taking away yet another one of my favorite things.
What they have done is they've added an actual plot line to it, starting out with Jack of The Incredibles. And he's supposed to be being babysat by Edna Mode, and he sees his family go off to do a mission, and he has to follow them. So first one off is Dash, and he counts you down and shoots you out of the gate, so to speak. And you hear his running little feet. And all of the others show up at various times. Mrs. Incredible stretching to try and catch her baby. Mr. Incredible offering cookies, and I have read that they actually pump in the scent of cookies at that point.
So fun.
And then toward the end, when chaos is sure to ensue, Violet gives off her force field to save everybody, and you get back into see the chaos that has been wrought over this.
I want to go on that. I want to go do
For
that.
me, I love that coaster in any iteration of it. It's a wonderful coaster, very fast, very smooth.
Yes, that was my favorite part.
And I'm fine with holding her purse.
One day, Mike, one day, you and I are going to be out there, and oh my God, the public shaming, the tarring and the feathering, Mike.
I'll be able to
I don't.
backpack too when I'm out there, so I'm not super.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm willing to be a pack mule. I will not go on that. Thank you.
He is he's the photographer. He's the official photographer who takes pictures of me going, yeah!
Awesome.
Now, my worst would have to be summed up in 3 words. A Bug's Land.
I don't think I visited this.
It's predominantly aimed toward little kids, and it is all off-the-shelf rides.
Oh.
So it's the same scramblers, the same car rides and such that you've seen in every carnival ever. And they've themed them out to A Bug's Life, but, you know, they've got to do better than that. And
they will.
Sad to say, in the Pixar revision, they have Pixarified at least one that I know of. But again, what used to be Flix Flyers is still the same old, same old. But a lot of parents actually like it because California Adventure was geared more toward an adult group. So it is a place for the little kids to, the smaller kids and the less adventuresome ones to play. However, I think it's pretty much going to be a casualty of Marvel's encroachment. Yeah. Because it's right smack next to Guardians of the Galaxy. And that, I think, is going to doom it.
I'm pretty sure
some of that. I walked past it as I was getting to Cars Land.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Bug's Land is going to go bye-bye in favor of Marvel Land, which I'm perfectly fine with.
That doesn't disappoint me at all.
Unfortunately, I think a ride that Jonna loves might be a casualty of that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of my favorite rides is also disadvantageously located there. And the funny thing is, I love it so much. Its original incarnation, it probably goes down in history as the worst flop Disney ever had, the Superstar limos. But it is now redone as the Monsters Inc. ride, and I love it. It's a dark ride, classic dark ride, follows the plot line of Monsters Inc. And it's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty for a dark ride.
So now, is that going to be there still next summer when I come to visit, or do you think that's going to be gone?
I have not heard any information that they're planning on getting rid of it imminently, so fingers crossed. I keep hoping that if it does fall victim to Marvel, that they move it, because I want to see it saved. It's probably, between Disneyland and California Adventure, it's probably my single favorite dark ride in both parks.
It's a cute dark ride. Unfortunately, I don't think I've ever seen a very long line there.
True.
So
partly because of its location, it's out of the main drag, and a lot of people don't even probably know that it's there.
Yeah.
Now, have they even broken ground on Marvel Land yet, or is that still like?
Not really. They were concentrating entirely on the Pixar makeover.
Right.
And,
so probably by 2022, when everything else is going to be ready on the East Coast.
The only real thing that we've seen is they have a stunt show that's all Marvel. The characters are now doing meet and greets, and of course the Guardians of the Galaxy mission breakout.
I met Thor when I was there. He was in Disneyland, though.
Well, now they're getting their own home.
They had this like Iron Man exhibit, and Thor. I got to meet Thor, and I told him that I loved his comics, and he said, "What's a comic?" It was awesome.
It's this new thing. I can even send an electronic mail. That's great. You have a computer? No.
I'll send you a raven.
Now, I know one of Mike's favorites has to be Mater's Junkyard Jamboree.
Yep. I mean, it's pretty much a it's. I mean, if you've been to Whalen Park or when it was still open and rode the whip, that's pretty much what this ride is. But rather than just always throwing you the same direction, it changes up. So sometimes you go one way, sometimes you go the other. But it's just the constant like throwing around is just so much fun. It's a very simple ride, but it's an extraordinarily fun ride.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that that's essentially the one they just opened at Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios is essentially the same ride.
Which one?
Just with the different overlay.
Oh, the Little Green Men ride?
Yes.
Isn't that like bumper cars?
No. It actually exactly like what Mike mentioned. If you look at it, they're on circular discs, so they will go around and then they'll whip around as well, based on wherever it kind of catches in the track.
Yeah, that sounds pretty similar, but it is extraordinarily fun.
Yeah, it's more fun than it has any right to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, of course, California Adventure has two rides that folks from the East Coast would be very familiar with. They, of course, have Screaming Around the World.
Soaring Around the World?
Soaring Around the World, yeah.
That sounds awesome.
For people who don't like heights.
California Screaming Around the World.
And they have Toy Story Midway Mania. Now, they're a little bit differently dressed out, but they function exactly the same way as their East Coast counterparts.
Yeah, the out in California Adventure, Midway Mania looks more like a midway, like a midway game type thing.
Right.
Whereas in Hollywood Studios, it's more of an actual like kind of game thing.
What?
Yeah.
The outside of the building, like the theming of it.
They do have one ride though that I haven't seen anywhere else. Grizzly River Run, the best thing in the world on a hot day.
See, I feel like I definitely missed out because the only rides that I went on when I was in California Adventure were the Cars ride and the Screamin' roller coastery thing. California Screamin', is that what it is?
Yeah.
And then I saw a Pixar parade. That was awesome.
Yeah, when they first opened California Adventure, its overweening sin was too much off the shelf, and that's been gradually going away. They've been getting rides that have the level of complexity and theming that you expect to see, and those have been very well received.
Yeah.
So there are a lot more things, and they've been just simply adding more rides flat out. So they used to think of it as like a half-day park, and now it's definitely its own encounter. You definitely can spend the whole day or more than just checking out the different things that they have.
If you're wondering what the Cars ride is like, just take Test Track and give it a Cars theme, and you pretty much have it. I mean, there are little variations, but it's the same concept anyway.
Ka-chow!
I did not feel like it was. So I enjoyed it, and I thought it was really fun. But I don't think that that last run in Test Track when you go like 0 to 60, like boom. I feel like that maybe it's not any faster, but it always feels a lot faster than the Cars ride. I don't know. My car did win though, so can't complain.
No, there you go.
Yeah, race your opponent.
I definitely got to sit in Lightning McQueen too. So.
Okay.
I think Mike and I did as well, and ours won.
Yeah, once, yeah.
Well, obviously it's Lightning McQueen. He's not going to lose.
Ka-chow.
That's Andy's line tonight, Mike.
Ciao. Hey, I'm gonna head back to the garage now. Didn't you just come from there? Ka-chow.
You'll have plenty of opportunity for that when you come out, because they do meet and greets with the actual cars, vehicles. They come out and they interact with people.
That sounds awesome.
And for the holidays, they dress them up in themed costume.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they've started really working the holidays. And this last year, I believe, was the first year that they started with decorating for Halloween over at Cars Land. Halloween, pardon me.
So now, did they put like jack-o'-lantern faces on all the cones? Because that's what I wowould do.
Yes, they did. And they kind of went snowmanish at Christmas time.
Oh, fun.
And, you know, they did a lot with Coco, I'm told, this year, because, of course, that was their big thing, hence my lovely little figure. And they do the Festival of Holidays, which is one of our answers to the Food and Wine Festival. We also now have a Food and Wine Festival, but ours is in the spring.
And all the food sounds amazing.
So for all the people who love the Food and Wine Festival, they get to come, and ours is handled a little differently because we don't have the by the country thing. But yeah, Julie's right. The food sounds amazing.
I have to like avoid those posts on Disney Food Blog because it just makes me salivate so much and makes me wish that I was in California, and I can't.
Disney Food Blog just makes me realize how much I prefer savory foods over sweet foods.
Yeah.
It's just
Oh, no. Sweet.
Nope.
Sweet.
Why you and Jonna are perfect for each other. You guys.
Yeah. So is there anything else we want to talk about with California Adventure? Or we got to leave it here so we can discuss Disneyland next week.
So I have my thing to talk about that I conveniently saved for last. Oops. So the meal that I had at California Adventure, I did one of the, what is the night show? The music color.
World of Color.
World of Color. So I did a World of Color like dining package, and I ate at the Carthay, whatever it's
Carthay
called.
Circle.
Carthay Circle.
Yeah. So that was amazing. So that was the first time I ever had a Zinfandel wine. It was probably the best wine I've ever had. And it was, $16 for this much wine. So I, hope it was amazing. But it was really cool. And
Nobody tell her.
What?
Nobody tell her. Go ahead.
Hold on, I lost the mint. Is it gone?
What? You?
Are we not telling me?
Oh no, about the Zinfandel.
What about it?
Oh, nothing. I'm making a joke.
Okay. I lost the menu. Oh.
Actually, John and I have never eaten there, but when I go out there in November, that's on the agenda.
Okay, so this restaurant was really cool. So you go up, I believe it is to the second floor, and I was sitting next to people that were celebrating their anniversary, and I was sitting there all alone, and we were chit-chatting. And they have these really amazing fried biscuits that I wasn't planning on getting, but my waiter and the people sitting next to me and like 4 other people told me were amazing. So they're they're stuffed with white cheddar, and then they're like bacon jalapeno biscuits with this like honey butter of sorts. I don't know. They were amazing. They were magical. When you guys eat there, get that. Perhaps when I come with you guys, we can go there. And I don't remember what I got for my entree, but I believe it was the pork chop, which I don't know why. It just sounded really good, and it had risotto. And then for dessert, they have a upside down cake that was super delicious that I had. But this place is really cool. So there's like this big chandelier, and around it is like a mural painted on the ceiling. And they were explaining to me that there are like hidden Mickeys, and there was this whole story behind what was painted on the ceiling. And I don't remember if it was one of the Disney like classics that was painted in. I think it was The Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Well, that would make sense because the Carthay Circle Theater was where Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premiered.
Yeah, so that's probably what it was. And so you look up, and while you're eating, you could just see all of these different scenes painted, like just very subtly painted into this mural on the ceiling. And it was, the chandelier was gorgeous, and my waiter was awesome, and it was just a really, really cool experience. And then the World of Color show was really, really pretty, but the people behind me were really upset because I recorded the whole thing. And
yeah, the details on some of the restaurants there are really amazing. I don't know if they still have it functioning, but at Ghirardelli's, when they first opened, they had a complete mural of the skyline of San Francisco, where Ghirardelli's is originally from, and it would actually be interactive based on what you ordered. Different things would light up and move and do things.
Oh, that's really cool.
Cool.
Again, East Coast, what is wrong with you?
If you change things too much in the East Coast, people complain.
Well, let them complain, and I will rejoice.
All right.
And
We did get churro ice cream sandwiches, though, so I want to try all the things. There's the Senor, what is it? The Senor Churros with
Senor Buzz.
That
Based on Buzz's Spanish mode.
So yeah, so that's really cool. And then they just have the Buddy Pops, which are little like Pixar character cake pops. So there's like Dory and Nemo and Wally and Eve and other ones, and they just
Mike and Sully.
I think there's I don't know if there's a Mike and Sully. That would make sense.
There is.
And then there's also like a Woody and Buzz. But our cake pops are like dipped Mickey ears. Like, come on. Give me something fun. And then the Pixar Tea Party. Like, what? If you look at the review of this, because I'm not going to go into like super detail, but they have like a chocolate covered strawberry that is up themed. So they have the little like rainbow non-Priol thingies on it with the teeny tiny little house.
Yeah.
And then what else did they have? It's just so incredible.
They had a Sully cupcake, I believe.
Yeah. Just listen to my podcast and you'll hear all about it. I'm talking about it here. I don't remember what episode that was.
Only a couple ago, I think.
It was Amy's News on the Nines or Daily Dish, whatever it was at that point. And
right. I'm trying to remember. I think it might have been the last episode that you. No, it was the episode before last that you published.
Was it the Akron shows? I think it was the one before that.
You won. I can pull it up.
I'll find the week. Hold on.
Well, I mean, I do have two like last things to talk about here. One is the World of Color, which is my second favorite nighttime spectacular out of all of the Disney, all the U.S. Disney parks, at least anyway. I just find it one, it's all projected on water screens, and they use like the background of the roller coaster. They use that as like a interactive part of the show. So it's just fantastic, and the use of the music and the colors and everything, it's really amazing. But also they've got a theater there that they do like a 45-minute show, and originally it was Aladdin, which originally it was something else, but the first one I saw was Aladdin, and they did the hell out of that show. They did a really fantastic job. And now it's the Frozen show, and they do a really great job with that too, including when they do Let It Go, during like the big climactic part, the lights, like you've got Elsa up on this moving staircase that it's all glittering like ice, and she's in a regular dress, and the lights go out. And they turn on like 2 seconds later, and she's in her complete ice dress. It's one of the most amazing transformations I've ever seen.
It's the same trick they do on Broadway.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen the Broadway show.
Yeah, that's the Hyperion Theater. And be warned, because you will have to climb stairs, a whole hell of a lot of stairs sometimes, to go see the show there. But it's worth it. Absolutely, it is worth it. And the first time, I love the Aladdin show, but the first time that I saw the Frozen one, I took one look at it and said, it's a Broadway dry run. They're testing this out to see how all the effects play out when they go to Broadway. Yep. And I was right.
Hey, that's what they do with Aladdin too. Because guess what's on Broadway now?
Absolutely. Yeah, yep. They do.
And I'm going.
For a truncated version of the show, it's so elaborate, it will blow your mind. I love the Beauty and the Beast show at
Hollywood
Studios, but they don't have the technology that they can at the Hyperion. At the Hyperion, you're getting practically Broadway quality.
So, Andy, I know that you're just dying to bring your best friend with you to see Aladdin, right?
Yes. I do need to bring my life partner with me, though.
She'll see it some other time. Don't worry.
We're actually going to be. It's funny because we're actually going to be away that week. We're going to be on Cape Cod, so I think we're going to do the commuter rail into Boston to go see it.
No, actually, I think you can take a ferry from Providence.
Yeah, if we did that, we'd be stuck in Boston overnight.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do that.
So.
Commuter rail shouldn't be too
one more thing that I think needs mentioning is what used to be the Tower of Terror got totally rethemed out for Guardians of the Galaxy. So imagine walking in, and instead of being in a creepy old hotel, you are surrounded by the collector's collection.
Oh.
Including including all the Guardians and their pet rat.
And when you walk into the elevator room, which is going to take you, they have it set up where everything around you is still collection, and all of a sudden you start hearing Rocket, and you see his little hand reach down and nab Quill's Walkman, among other things. And as far as the ride functions, exactly the same as the Tower of Terror, except you get a awesome mix 80s rock and roll thing. And one of the best parts is when they open the window so that you can see out. You hear Rocket in the background over the rock saying, "I can see Disneyland from here."
which I didn't really hear all that much of anything because I was too busy like screaming.
Yeah,
kind of, maybe
screaming and digging his hands clawed into the armrests.
So we talk about the Pixar Tea Party on the episode reviewing the review that came out June 10th.
Okay. So,
but I would say all the positives here have explained why the park has improved. It just keeps getting better, from a sad start to a much better future.
So, hey, I mean, Disneyland Paris is still open. So,
how long has California Adventure been around? How many years?
Oh gosh.
Give me a sec. I got it here.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when it opened, and I should know that because I don't remember.
Wow.
What?
It opened in 2001.
Really? Yes, it did. I want to say 99, but yeah, that's right.
I thought it was a little bit older than that, to be honest.
No, it's a young park, but they're growing it. They finally got serious about growing it.
Well, hey, I mean, look at how Disneyland started. So
yeah, it had 13 rides when it started, and actually, so did California Adventure.
So awesome. So next week we're going to talk about Disneyland. I don't know if we're just going to do a best and our favorite and least favorite, or if we're just going to do one or the other. We'll decide that in committee.
Have you been to Disneyland, Andy?
I have. I haven't been there since the very end of Reagan's second term in office, but I have been there.
Good job.
So you'll at least have a little more to contribute than just good job.
I will have some context. Yes. It's 30 years old, but I do have context. So yeah. So if you like this video, please leave us a comment. If there's anything you love about DCA, please leave it below. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Also, Mike and I host a little podcast called Geek Salad, which is available at geeksalad.podbean.com.
Wait, we do?
What's that?
Since when?
Oh, yeah, 163 episodes, almost 10 years now.
Oh, that. Oh.
Yeah, that one. We are also available on pretty much everybody's streaming service now. So Stitcher, iTunes, Google Music, Spotify. We're pretty much everywhere. So that you can check out our archives. We just recently posted our episode all about our favorite ice cream treats. And hopefully by the end of this week, because I was working on it before I came down to record this, our cover songs episode, which was fun because it's really tough to find original Bob Dylan on YouTube. Oh, it's lousy. It's lousy with that. Julie,
I've got a lot. You ready?
go ahead. I'm ready for it.
All right, so I have the One Little Spice podcast that is a Disney food podcast that is not afraid to send you into the taste lab. We are on Podbean, so we're onelittlespice.podbean.com. We are on Stitcher, we're on iTunes, we're on Google Music, we're on Spotify. We are on TuneIn now, so you can ask Alexa to play the One Little Spice podcast, and she plays the latest episode of our podcast. It is the coolest thing ever. So my mom's like, "Oh, I can listen to your podcast now." Yes, Mom. Yes, you can. Thanks.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah.
Seriously. So we just released our second Taste Lab episode on YouTube. So we are the Taste Lab if you search for us. And this month, technically last month, but I got it out a little late. Sorry, guys. Totally worth the wait. Was the vegetable terrine from Akershus in Akershus, however you pronounce it.
Akershus.
That in.
I always correct you.
So we recreated the dish. We didn't actually have a menu for it. I mean, a recipe for it, but we posted our recipe in the description on that. So subscribe because we're coming out with one of those each month. We're on Patreon where we have exclusive access to the Magical Snack Corner, which is our bi-weekly episode. Bi-weekly episode where we talk about Disney snacks. This week we are doing the Dole Whip, and it is going out to everyone. Next week we're starting with, not next week, but next episode we're starting with food and wine booths. So everybody's going to want to sign up for that. So you get all the 411 on all the booths for food and wine. We also have all sorts of other fun extras on Patreon. So that's www.patreon.com/onelittlespice. And we are on TeePublic. If you search for One Little Spice, or the description is in some of our podcast episodes, you can get awesome swag like this t-shirt and some cell phone cases, bags, stickers, all sorts of fun stuff. YouTube is usually the last thing I say. Oh, and we're on Instagram at @1_little_spice. Oh, look, there's my button. No, those
One Little Spice. Back it up. Back it up. There you go.
So those buttons go out to our patrons. So those are
awesome.
On TeePublic. And hold on Twitter we're at One Little Spice, and on Facebook we are One Little Spice, and we also have a Facebook group, One Little Spice group, where we talk about all the episodes and Disney food and all things Disney and awesome stuff. So join us there. And
awesome.
Remember, every recipe starts with one little spice.
And as the local Californian, let me say, come and join us. We're growing the park for you. Come and tell us what we can do to make it better. Keep California green. It's summer. We're the Golden State. We can use anything to keep us green. And in honor of us having Marvel Land, and such as it is now, and as it may come to be, Hakuna Wakanda.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, until next time, go forth. Have a great day, and Hakuna Wakanda.
Ciao.
Ciao.